So, as you will have seen from the previous video, I'm doing a bathroom renovation for someone, and we stripped it all out in the last video, and I began to sort of expose behind the wall where the pipes were coming through. Since then, I've managed to get the boards off. Now, let me show you. I've got all the boards off to expose all the pipe work. Now, I've just been trying to get my head around all of this. There's just a bank of pipes coming through here. There's hot and colds feeding what was the bidet, the basin is coming off different ones. We've got 222mm hot and colds feeding the bath, which I assume are being fed from round that way somewhere. We've got 228mm primaries down here that are the old primaries from the heating system. The boiler is directly below where we are, as well as the soil pipe stack that runs down there as well. So this is going to take some sorting out. I think I'm going to end up cutting a lot of this pipe work out and just redoing it, but I didn't know any of this was here prior to quoting up for this bathroom, and to be honest, I'm going to have a word with the customer, because this is all going to have to be sorted out and stuff, because I don't want to end up just capping pipes off and you could possibly lose the feed to the kitchen or the feed to the downstairs utility, and I don't want to have any dead legs anywhere in the pipe work. So it's going to take a little bit of investigation. I think we're going to have to end up taking a bit of this wall out, because the pipe work behind there and I can't see where it goes, so I think I'm just going to have to cut across and down and sort of hopefully try and find where these pipes are going. Plus we've also got the stack to sort out. This is where the toilet's going to go. Obviously it can come off there and there, but I don't know what we're going to do with that, because obviously it's got a vent somewhere. So yeah, it's become a bit of a can of worms, this job. So get subscribed to the channel, because you're not going to want to miss how we're going to sort this out, I think. And you can even see the toilet's always been backfalling anyway. Absolute nightmare. Right, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is doing well. As you'll have seen from the intro on this video, we're still at that bathroom where I've took all the boards off now, and we've exposed everything that's behind it, and just that barrage of pipe work. And I think at the end of last video, you left me scratching my head a little bit and trying to work out what was what. I went away from it. I've come back to it now, as you'll see in this video, with a fresh sort of set of eyes, and you'll see how we're going to move forward with it. I've had to speak to the customer regarding what we found for obvious reasons. None of that I would have known was in there when I priced the job up. So it's just a little insight into how you move forward when you come across something like that, because it happens. It can happen on a lot of jobs. Usually, you know, the customers are pretty good with it, but you'll see what this customer has to say about it moving forward. Also, I'd just like to say a massive thanks to everybody who commented or got in touch with me off the back of last video. It seems to have gone down a storm. So a lot of people were asking, oh, mate, you know, hopefully you're going to show the whole process of this pipe work and what we're going to do with it. So yeah, this is the, if you like, the second part of that video. Load of new subscribers as well in the last few weeks, so welcome aboard to the channel. I'm Mark. It's just a real world plumbing channel showing everything when it goes right, wrong, etc, etc. And if you're new to the channel and you spot all this Unilite stuff, if you want to get anything from Unilite, use my code MJTIFF and you'll get 25% off. Massive shout out to Unilite, because they've sponsored the channel now for nearly a year, and I'm able to pass them discounts over to you so you can get proper good lighting gear and clothes and merchandise and all that sort of stuff from Unilite with a great discount. So massive shout out to Unilite as always. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, just hit that subscribe button. It just helps the reach of the channel get out there so that more people will get to see it. As what's been happening in the last few weeks, the channel really has shifted, which is brilliant. So I appreciate everything, every like, every comment, everyone who subscribes to the channel. So if you haven't, get subscribed, hit the like button on all the videos you see, drop me a comment below. I try to get back to nearly everybody, unless you put a dickhead comment, then I don't bother, or now and again it might just get under my skin a little bit and I have to reply. I know I hate myself for it sometimes, but sometimes you just get absolute weapon grade comments coming in. So anyway, I'll leave you there to carry on watching the video. Hope you like it, and I will catch you on the next one. So we're down where the boiler is now. This is This is the sauce stack coming from that bathroom. You can see those two primaries, them two 28mm dead primaries there. We've got two 22mm going up here, so I need to track back and see what that is. So that's a heating pipe, and this one coming down here, that's a heating pipe. Right, okay, so we know those two on the left are our flow and return heating pipes. What is this one going up here? I'm going to guess at, so it's coming down here up, so that's the gas. So we know this one here coming up in that corner is the gas. So we've got flow returns, gas, and we know these two here are the two 15mm that are feeding the hot and cold, because the main is coming in here and it's coming in straight into 15mm. So it's 15mm cold, 15mm hot here, coming off the boiler, chasing back into these two, if you can make them out, these two copper pipes here. So we just need to go upstairs and find where this gas pipe comes up, and then we're making a little bit of headway. We've also got these two waste pipes. They were from the bath, and I think it was the bidet because the basin went into the soil pipe. But let's go and track them two hot and colds. Let's go and track those two flow and returns, and we know the gas is coming out on the right. So them two 22s here are our heating pipes. So we know they're the heating pipes. Those two 28mm are dead, so I'm going to cut them out the way. Therefore there should be 22mm poking up somewhere for the gas. I'm trying to find it now. Need to cut them out the way. I think it's this 15mm. I think it goes down between them joists there with that little bit of lagging. I have to go down and double check. So I think it comes up in 22, then goes into that 15mm and probably goes off to feed the cooker gas. But I'm just going to double check that, because I can see, in fact no, I can see it's swaged here. Yeah, I can see that. It is. That's the gas. So we've got the gas, we've got the flow return or heating pipes at least, and I've just marked these up. Jesus Christ, this is hard work. Just marked up the hot and cold pipes coming up here. So we've got this 15mm is the cold, this 15mm is the hot, and as I said, it comes out the boiler in 15 and then goes into this 22mm to feed the bath that way, and then the hot goes off that way, and the colds must just loop back down. So what I think I'm going to do is cut out as much as I can, but then connect the colds and the hots in down there, and as long as we get them within the circuit, so they're going to flow all around when the kitchen is on or the downstairs cloakroom is on, we're not going to have any dead legs in the pipework. So that is going to be the plan. So hopefully we can get rid of all of this and make a little bit of headway, because that has stressed me out a little bit trying to sort out what that was. There's two 28mm primaries were throwing me a little bit, so we can cut them out, and what I may do is just run 22mm plastic down the back here into here for the bath, just down the back, because you know, running copper all around the back of here is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. So we'll see. At least we're getting a bit of headway on it now. At least we know roughly what's what. It's just where all these are all sort of coming together. Right, I've just managed to stick my head around here. So let me see if I can send the camera around and show you exactly where. You see, look down there, the pipes just run down the whole back end of the building. Right, I've now cut out the corner of this bathroom, and we can now see a little bit better inside here. Now I think I'm gonna have to climb in here at some point, but what I can see down the far end, I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, is them two 28mm primaries are poking up there. Now, obviously that was where the cylinder used to be and all the pipe work is coming from there. We've got pipes coming down across for the kitchen, and I think what they've done at the far end, I can just about see a load of compression fittings. So what I think they've done, or what I know they've done, is they've taken the cylinder out there and they've looped the hot and colds in together where need be, and the heating pipes where need be. So what I'm going to do, I think, is just speak to the customer, because none of this, I wouldn't have known any of this was going to be here. So I'm going to take all of that back as far as I can down to that far end and get it done properly, because otherwise it's just going to really play on my mind if I'm trying to connect and loop into different areas on this pipe work. So it's been a bit of a ball ache getting to the point we're at now, but as I said, down that far end is where all the connections have been made, I think. So I'm going to try at some point and see if I can squeeze through there. Should be able to just get down and have a look. So it's the following morning on this job. So I went away from this job last night quite stressed because of what we uncovered here, all this pipe work, and just trying to get my head around what we're going to do with it. I've had a little meeting this morning here with the customer, basically saying to him, now we've uncovered all of that, I physically couldn't have priced knowing that all this was going to be an issue. You know, things like, because we've got to get the 4-inch saw pipe through here, all these pipes are going to be in the way. So luckily for me, the guy whose job it is an ex-architect, or he is an architect, he's retired now. He said, Mark, we can sort that out, you know, we'll cut that out, and if the pipe work has got to be cut out, he said he would rather me strip everything back as much as I can and redo it from there. So, fresh pair of eyes this morning, less stressed than what I was last night when I uncovered it all. Basically, these two pipes are feeding the whole house. This is the hot and the cold from the boiler. So, I'm going to cut them there and work from there. Now, all of this pipe work running around here, we looked through here last night before I went, and we found right at the far end, it looked to be where there had been a cylinder before, and they had obviously took the cylinder out to allow for a combi and altered the pipe work and looped it round to make it work. Now, for some strange reason, I don't know why, I completely forgot to look in that door to see if there was anything obvious in there. We open this door up, and it brings us directly to where they have looped all the pipe work back on itself from when this was a cylinder. And we've got the 28mm primaries here. Why I think it was just because I was that stressed out yesterday afternoon uncovering all of that, I just completely didn't even think of looking. So anyway, we found it now, and what this tells us is, well, what this shows us is, A, there's a shitload of cobwebs in here, but B, all there is two hot and colds going that way to feed the kitchen. So all of this is in fact able to come out. So what we're going to do is go through this, cut all of this lot out, work it all back to those 2 points there of the hot and colds, and repipe it all. I'm probably going to do it in plastic. The customer's happy with it in plastic for speed, for cost, and it'd just be a lot quicker to work with and get in, and because obviously I'm aware I've got the tiler booked in for certain days. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut it all out, and we're going to get rid of all this lot first, but we're going to cut it all out and redo it all. So this bit is for all the apprentices and the lads coming into the game. You better make sure you don't mind cobwebs, old insulation that's going to itch your skin. What we got over there? Wasp's nest, the odd rat running around, the odd mouse running around. But yeah, you need to get used to this, because a lot of roof spaces and alcoves and areas we need to get in are always covered in horrible, horrible cobwebs. But this is where the old vacuum comes in, because hopefully it will suck all these cobwebs away. There we go, it's a little bit better. So we're going to get the water off now, cut as much of this pipe work as we can out. We'll get these 28 mils out, we'll get all this lot out. As long as we get hot and cold onto them 2 feeds there, we're pretty much free reign to get all around the side. Plus, it's a nice bit of scrap in that as well. Always thinking, you see, always got to go for the scrap if you can. Right, I've just been down, shut the mains cold water off so we can now begin cutting all of this pipe work out. Took the cap ends off to drain the water down. What I'm going to do is just cut them here, cut the hot and cold here, put 2 caps on them, then if need be, if the brickies come back, we can get the water back on, because that is the main feed that's feeding the whole house. And then we'll begin just cutting all of this pipe work back. So as long as we couple back up onto these 2 hot and colds feeding down into the kitchen, everything else can come out plumbing wise. Obviously we've got to leave the heating pipes in. There's a couple of pipes there for the heating, for the rads, but yeah, and then we can start ripping everything out. Right, now the water's off, let's get ready and cut a load of this pipe work out and make it a little bit more accessible and a little bit more easy to understand. I'm not going to film me cutting a load of pipe work out, but I'll just show you the big pile of scrap afterwards. That's the last 20 minutes or so cutting out the majority of this pipe work. As you can see now, it's a lot better within these voids. Those 2 22 mils of the heating pipes. As I say, we've got the hot and colds coming there. We've got them 22 mils which are going to feed the bath. I'm going to take all that out as well. This is what the copper we've got out so far. The 2 big 28 mil primaries. But these are the ones that were at the far end of here, where the cylinder is, inside there, where the cylinder was. And as you can see, they teed them all in and looped them all around, which was why we had a load of pipe work coming through here. You know, 4 or 5 different hot and cold feeds for the bidet, for the bath. You know, some of them back in the day, they used to be tank fed for the bath and possibly tank fed for the bidet, I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, it's all out now. We've just got to finish getting these 2 28 mil primaries because they're going up that way and it's hard to get them out through the joists, but we'll get there in the end. And what I'm going to do is re-lag, because it's hair foul lagging on them heating pipes. There's a little 15 mil gas pipe as well. So what I'm going to do is get some lag in and re-lag all those properly before all this goes back on. But we've got plenty of work to do yet. We'll finish getting this copper out because we're getting a nice little bundle there, ready for the scrap man. So this is one of the 28 mil primaries that I took out. Now, as I was cutting it out and trying to get all the pipe work out, I pulled this and it just fell out. It just still baffles me how a 28 mil primary, obviously it was fine when it was in, it hasn't been used for years because obviously it's been converted, but it just pulled apart. And you can see on there, none of the solder has gone, being held by just that tiny little bit of solder around the edge of the elbow for God knows how many years, even inside. It's not even solder inside the fitting, but yeah. It does, it baffles me how sometimes you'll go to fittings and they just fall apart in your hand, but they've held for years and years and years. So yeah, that's that. There we go. I've now cleaned out all the back of this void and you can see we're now down to just the flow and return heating pipes. This is the gas pipe, and as I said already, I think we're going to put lagging on that completely round there. What I'm going to do is come off the flow and returns, and I'm just going to stab out with 2 valves here just in case they ever want a radiator going on the back of where this wall is going to be built. Then we can just run that around and connect onto it, but they're not too sure yet because they're having underfloor heating, electric underfloor heating under the tiles. They're a little bit dubious about having a towel rail there, but if we put the feeds in, they've got them. So now we can begin to sort of get my head around what we're going to do. So I'm going to make a list of everything we need, make a list of what soil stuff we're going to need, because I'm going to come off that elbow, I'm going to take that 45 out, come off with a T straight through here for the toilet, and then across to pick up that vent, running it along the back. So that'll be out of the way, and then we can just run the pipe work into the front here. And also when I cut out this joist for the soil pipe, I'm going to take this bit of timber, trim this up, put it in there, brace the top, and I'm going to brace the top of that one as well, and just to make sure that joist has got some sort of support on, but it doesn't go all the way that way anyway. We're going to screw them up so they're a bit more solid. And once we've got everything in the back there, I'm going to pick up a few bales of rock wool insulation just to go back inside there, just to keep it nice and fresh. But again, I haven't priced any of this, so I'm going to make a list up now of what we need, shoot off to plumb base, pick it all up, and then we can make a start on beginning to get the first fix pipe work in for this bathroom. Right, the bathroom saga continues. We are back on the bathroom. Yesterday I got all of this stripped out, right back to just a hot and cold feed coming in there, and stripped right back into the back of that cupboard. Spoke to the customer yesterday about everything that we've got to do here, and obviously it wasn't priced into the job. I always put a caveat in my pricing, basically saying if there's any remedial work that we can't see, you know, all this was tiled in, all this was, you know, a working bathroom, so nobody knew what we was going to be greeted with behind there. Spoke to the customer about it, and he said, yeah, Mark, not a problem at all. Do what you've got to do, and get it all working. Price point, costing and time, he's happy for it to be in plastic. So I went and picked a load of plastic up there. Before anyone comes at me about putting plastic in, if you're that bothered, I've done a video. I'll put a link up here of a bathroom I've done in copper, because there's always someone that says, he can't do copper work, he's doing it in plastic. I've done loads of bathrooms in copper, I've done loads of bathrooms in plastic, and to be honest, touch wood, they've all been perfect, they've all been fine, it's not an issue. It comes down to price point. You know, for this, this was not what we knew was going to happen. The customer's happy for it to be in plastic because it's going to save him time, money, etc. So that's how we're doing it, in plastic. We've got everything here. Went and picked a load of stuff up yesterday from Plumb Base. We've got our screws, got our Talon clips all ready to clip it in to here as neat as we can get it. We've obviously got to alter the soil pipe and that as well. Now, an interesting thing that I thought about last night was all that side of the roof is going, you see under here, where all this is coming out because they're building another bathroom back to back with this wall basically. So all of this will have to be altered at some point. Now, what I'm going to do is run the hot and colds into here, and then we're just going to come off there, up to the far end there, connect onto the hot and colds to keep that side of the house live, because I'm assuming, I'll have to have a look at the drawings, but I'm assuming that this is going to follow all the way down to the bathroom that's going to go there, is also going to have this void here. They're having a new stack put in for it, so that's not a problem. But so if I just bring the pipe work to there and then loop hot and colds across to pick up what we've got, then it's not too much of a problem to reconnect onto it when we need to, that side of things, once this bathroom's all finished. So that's the process we're going to do with that. So today it's going to be mainly sorting the wastes out. I think I'm going to start with the waste for the bath here. I'm going to redo the waste in the bath. That's the old bidet waste. What we're going to do is put a T in here to feed obviously the pan, and we'll put the waste from the basin, drop it straight into a boss on top of the T. Now, we're going to have to do what they've done here, but here for the toilet. So we're going to cut this joist out, take this bit of timber out that we're taking out there, and put it into there, and then brace that up. We're going to brace this side up as well. I think I might have already said, but the customer is a retired architect, so he's happy with it being braced and stuff like that. So before anyone comes at me for doing that, if you can think of a way of getting a soil pipe from here to here without going through there when the floor's not deep enough, you're a miracle worker. So that's how we're doing that. So let's start now and begin getting some waste pipes in first, then we can drop onto the pipe work, and then we can finish off with getting the store stack connected and brought out here. So this is that stack that's downstairs. This was where the bidet was going into this one. So I've put a little bung, little rod and eye cap in there, and this is where the bath was going into. So I've took the old bath fittings out, put new solvent wild ones in. So what we'll do, we'll come up with that pipe there, bang an elbow on it, and then we know the connections going into the stack are all ready, all good, and then we can work from above. So that's the 1.5 inch in for the bath. We've dropped it down and connected into that boss down below. Got an elbow on there. I found out finally what that brick was for. I'm just going to use it to prop that waste up. So the waste's in. What I'm going to do now is get the two 22 mils in for the bath, and we're just going to bring them into here. Just going to poke them around there on elbows into here, and then we can pop that lagging back in there and work from this point here to save me getting all around there, and then we can work along there and bring out all the feeds that we need. I'll tee off them 222s in for the basin, and then we can start getting the soil pipe in, well at least the tee in, and cut the boss in, and then we can get the waste in for the basin, and then move down to the bath and then get everything carried on along there. So I've looped the hot and cold and the waste in now. Hot and cold's coming here. As I always say, always mark your pipes up. I've got to put cold on that one, to be fair. So we're going to bring them down. Now, to set out for where the basin's going to go, we need to pinpoint where the toilet's going to go on this job, because, as I said, we've got to go through that beam. Now, I said, possibly in this video, or at least in the other video, there's going to be a cupboard coming off there. So we're working to this point here. Now, what I wanted to try and do was get the pan, the centre of the pan, in line with this part of the window. This is just like a double glazing thing, is get it in line with this part of the window. So I've got the laser level out, we've chucked it straight up there, and we're working. If I move that, we're working to that line just there. Let me move that light so you can see it. Working to that line there. Now, I know we're going to have enough room because I've offered that fitting in there, so we can trim that out there, and then from there, that's going to be the centre of our toilet, so I can work from that and centre from the edge of where the bath's going to go and find the middle between the bath and the edge of the toilet, so it's going to look fairly equal. Obviously we know it's not going to tally up with the other side of the window because the basins, I think it's a 550 or a 570 basin, but it is what it is. I've been through it with a customer, and the only other alternative was to put vanity units set up the same width as what the window was, but his missus didn't want that. So that's the way we go. In pedestal basin, close couple toilet and pan. So we'll work that out there. I'll mark up where we're going to cut on that joist, but then we can work back, bring our hot and cold tails up off that plastic, poke out in copper. I always bring out in copper, apart from the bath because we're looping underneath. Whenever I'm doing plastic work, whenever you'll see pipe work, it will always come out in copper. So we can then bring the feeds out for there, get the waste in, and then we can come off the soil pipe and get that done. We've also got a load of lagging downstairs because we're going to lag everything moving on forward through there. So we've worked out exactly where we're going to bring the pipes up now for the basin. This is the height of where the pipes are going to come out, so we're going to bring it hot, cold out there, slightly lower for the waste, and this is the point we're going to bring them out. That's the centre mark. So we're going to bring them out there, we're going to put a little bit of a batten across the bottom of it, pop some clips on the top, bring the pipes out to hold them firm where they're going to come out, and then, to be fair, I'll probably put a clip on the bottom, underside of it, to bring the waste out. So using plastic, I get why people have a problem with plastic. It doesn't look great, it's quick to put in, it's very much, reminds me very much of just putting cables in. You can just pull lengths and lengths of plastic pipe work in. I'm using just 3 metre lengths for this job under here because it's a lot easier to use, but if I'm drilling through joists and running pipe work down far ends of buildings, I'll just buy the coil of plastic pipe. But the key factor I find is doing it right. You've always got to put the inserts into the pipe work. So for instance, with this one, we've got the 22mm pipe. As long as you put that insert into there, and when you push the fitting on, they sort of click in. When you push it up to the rubber, and then it's just a good shove in, and it will bind onto that pipe. And, you know, touch wood, I've never had any major issues with plastic pipe work that is fitted correctly. I always use polyplumb stuff. I just find it a lot easier to work with personally. There is obviously Speed Fit and Hep 2O and all that sort of stuff, but I've always used polyplumb. A, they've got it in stock at Plumb Base. B, I just find the pipe work a lot easier to work with. So we'll put that onto there, reducer onto there, and then elbow into the top of the pipe, and then that's the cold connected up, and we can fire the pipe work down that alcove. So we're making a little bit of progress now. I've connected up the hot and colds onto there and put 2 22mm up into the eaves over there. And we've also trimmed out through this joist for the soil pipe. We've also braced it across the top, braced it in the back. And then what I've cut out of here, I'm going to tweak a little bit and put in there and brace that little bit up as well. So that's all fine. We've just got to bring the cold feed out. I'll probably drill through here and then bring the cold out, connect onto the cold pipe behind there. And then that's the bath, the basin. We've just got to do the waste on the basin, which is going to boss into the top of there, which is fine. And then all we're going to do is come across and pick up that vent over there and then loop across there onto the hot and colds that are going down to feed the kitchen and the utility at the minute that's out the back. So yeah, making a good bit of progress now. So before we get too carried away going up that end, I want to get some lagging on these pipes, lagging on the heating pipes, lagging on these hot and colds, and lag basically as much as I can going that way. We can then get the waste in for the basin into there, because if I put that in now, we're going to struggle to get to the pipes at the back. So brought the lagging up, big bundle of it from Plumbase this morning. We'll crack on, get this lagged as much as we can, and then we've got to also connect up the vent on the top of the saw pipe. So we've got the lagging on those heating pipes going up the back. We've also got the lagging on these pipes going up here, and I've just put, or finished putting, the clips on, holding all this pipe work in place, because the last time anyone put any pipe work in this void, it wasn't even clipped. It was lagged, to be fair, had all that hair felt lagging on it, but it was far from being clipped. So that's them all clipped into position now. We're just going to put some lagging on the copper pipes going down there, some lagging on them, we'll pop a bit on there, and then we're slowly working our way through. So we've got the vent pipe in now for the vent that's going up through the roof. I need to pick up a 4-inch collar to connect onto there, and then we can get it strapped up, clipped on. But that's how that will sit there. And then what I've done through here is move that out of the way. I've connected onto the 2 hot and colds down there that feed down to the kitchen. Right, we've got the 57mm drill bit ready to just drill straight out that boss. This one fits perfectly. Well, it does. If it weren't for that bit, it fits perfectly into there. And then when that's drilled out, we can then just pop in a rubber bung like so, and then we can come off 1.25 inches. There we go. And then we just pop that bung in there like so, pop a bit of 1.25 inches out of there, run it across the back, then we'll poke it out here. We'll put a little clip on there as well to hold it all in place. And then that is the basin first fixed, toilet first fixed, bath first fixed. Finish connecting the vent up, and then all we've got left to do then is tee in to the 2 heating pipes and just poke a couple of feeds out there before we start boarding and re-insulating in this void. But how much better does that look now? It's been completely tidied out. I think Peter, the owner, is going to stick his head in later on, so he's going to be blown away with exactly what we've done there. But it was one of those things, it had to be done, just A, for safety, because I weren't happy with all the pipe work, the way it was running around, and you know, you've seen how them joints can just come apart at times anyway. So at least that's done, and then when we're going to tee into the heating pipes, we'll probably sort out a little bit to do with that as well. But for now, let's go and grab these couple of little bits. I think I'm going to grab something to eat as well, because I'm starving. So there we go, that is the majority of what we need to get done. All the wastes are in, all the pipe work's in, we've got all the new pipe work lagged, we've got the new saw pipe in, we've got the new hot and colds going up into the back of there where we've connected onto the house. So we've just got to bring them heating pipes out there. At that point, we'll then get some insulation into the back of here, board this, and we've also obviously got to get the bath in ready for Nath, my tiler, to come probably the tail end of next week and begin tiling. So yeah, what I thought was going to be an absolute nightmare wasn't too bad in the end. Once we cut all that pipe work out, it went near enough to plan. So hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get subscribed to the channel, and drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think to this part of this bathroom renovation.